Hello, Mr. Burrell. For me, the most interesting thing from the Shang Dynasty to the end of the POD would probably have to be the Song and the Tang dynasties and how that was sort of the Eastern Renaissance. And I think that's really cool how, during that time, all the arts were just brought out into public and everyone could appreciate it, like calligraphy and arts, like poems especially, is what I'm going to go into in a minute. And I just think, that's really cool for the people to see. And like I said, poetry is what I really want to get into. During the Tang Dynasty, it was known as the Golden Age of the of poems in China. And in particular, there were there were two authors, poets, named Li Bai and Du Fu. And they actually wrote so many poems together that people started to call their poems written by Li Fu. And a lot of them, actually predominantly most of them, were about friendship. And I'll read one to you now. It's called A Poem About Du Fu, written by Li Bai. It says, having a snack on the mountaintop together with Du Fu. He was wearing a broad-rimmed bamboo hat to protect against the hot July sun. Since the last time we met, he's looking so thin. And just as before, he's agonizing over his poetry. And, that just really shows the way that Li Bai thinks about Du Fu and how they can connect like that, and how poems like this just really show the mentality of the authors who wrote these great poems, and how they can just openly state this in, this form of writing, which is really, really cool. The second one is written by Du Fu. It's called Dreaming of Li Bai. So I'll read that to you. All day long, rows of clouds drift across the horizon, wanderers who will never return. But for 3 nights now, you have appeared in a dream so vivid, I could touch your flesh. Briefly you spoke about your long, hard journey, crossing rivers and lakes in small, fragile boat, fearful tossed by wind and waves. While the capital seems with rich and powerful in their lavish gear, there you stood in the doorway, scratching your silvery head, a sign of life's burdens, a lone, haggard man. No friend, there's not a single cloud in the vast heavens that could withstand the rigors borne by your weary old frame. Surely you'll enjoy 1,000 years or 10,000 years of the greatest fame, but still, for now, you're destined for a lonely and distant grave. You can tell the difference between the two authors, definitely, but I think that since they're so different, they work together to sort of form this open-minded poetry. And what I mean by that is like anything can go between these two people, and anything they write together will sort of clash, in within that clash will produce something really, really beautiful. And I really like these two poems. I think they're really really great. Other than poetry in the Tang and Song dynasty, another such an awesome art form is calligraphy, and actually poems were written as calligraphy along the sides of paintings, just alone. And if you really learn to master the art of calligraphy, you can tell that like you were saying this before, every single stroke, it makes every single character so distinguished and just so, individually beautiful when you write it. Like for the character literature, actually, it's like, I'll show you. It's Wen, and it looks like this. It's like, whoops. It's like this. And if someone from the ancient Tang Dynasty were to look at that, they'd probably want to throw me out of a window, because I am not very good at calligraphy. And I'm also writing with a dry erase marker on a whiteboard, but you know what I mean. I mean, every stroke has to be proficiently, looked over and perfect, and obviously that wasn't. But, alright, so calligraphy, poetry, what else? Wow, you know, sculpting, obviously, I don't want to say pots, but, you know, pots have been something that Chinese have made and continue to make today, and it's just it's a really cool art form as well. What else? Well, yeah, I mean, obviously there's much more like painting, but I think that all of it kind of subsides under one category of the arts, and I think that during the Tongan Song, you know, the Eastern Renaissance, it was really brought out, and everyone could enjoy, you know, how really cool actually the arts were in ancient China and are today. So that's what I think, and thank you for listening. You're probably watching this at a hawker stall and in 1.5 speed, so I won't interrupt you.